folks. Well, I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, and thanks for hanging out with me right now. If you hear some rattling in the background, that's Kenny cleaning up the kitchen. So appreciate that he does that. And I just wanted to show you some of the products that I've used. And again, this is on foam core that the client gave me. I was pointing out to you about matte finishes. I prefer gloss finish over matte. Sometimes you're going to want to use a matte finish, but I really like the shine. So I typically go with a gloss finish. Experiment with different brands. And then when we were cleaning out the garage, I found a set of brushes. I must have bought them years ago, and I just opened them up. I like a soft brush. It's just easier for me to work with. I find that I can create a lot easier with a softer brush. And here you see me just scribbling with a pencil to get started. It just helps me to engage myself with the canvas, connect with it. One of the things I also do, which is something you might have learned in junior high school, is sometimes right before I create, I write haikus. I don't know if you remember them, but they're little, almost like poems, 5 syllables, then 7 syllables, and the third line is 5 syllables. So it's 3 lines, 5, 7, 5. And that sort of just gets those creative juices flowing so that I can get in a good creative frame of mind and get the clutter out of my head. You never want to paint with a lot of clutter going on if you have other things that are distracting you. It's very hard to just clear your mind and work with the canvas and the paints. And here I'm just showing you the different brands that I'm using. I like some of the golden products the best. I've used Nova paint. And I go to Michael's or Joann's, and I've bought other kind. Liquitex is a great paint for beginners. And we have a real fine art store here. And I've been able to find some great paints there. And so I just experiment with different brands. And one of the brands I found online that doesn't have any unsafe fumes, or I tend to get my fingers in the paint sometimes, is called Eco, E-C-O paint. And so if you get that on you, or you have, if you're standing over a canvas, it's really good to have one that's really non-toxic. So Eco, look for it. Doesn't work on canvases. And if you hear that dinging in the background, that's just me getting some text. It's been a busy holiday season. This is a real busy buying season for artwork, so I've been replying to texts and emails today trying to get some things out. So I always go back to my favorite colors when I don't know what I want to do with a painting yet. And this particular foam core is just an opportunity for me to just do some practicing. About once a week, I try to just practice, just to see to hone my skills and to see what direction I want to go in for the week. If I have a commissioned, it's set in stone because it's dictated by the person who is asking me to make something for them, and it's usually in their colors. But when I need that one day just to practice for my own benefit, I'll always go back to the blues, the turquoise, the sometimes neutrals, but I gravitate towards colors that I just enjoy using, and I get a real visual connection to the canvas. What you're doing in your skill set is you're training your visual eye, and you're turning off some of your other senses just to work with the visual, at least for me. Now here you see I'm going in different directions with this brush, and you'll see in a minute, I don't like the way the brush looks. It's not putting the paint on smoothly. I'm going to put that one down, go back to a softer brush. Sometimes when I'm doing practice sessions like I'm here, I don't use water. I just let the colors melt into each other. It's just a way to blend. And I always like to see what comes up. It's just experimenting. And very important when you have an art business that you work through different skills and different techniques so that you can offer your client base different things. You don't always want to stick to one style. You try to expand, and the best way for me to expand is just to experiment. This foam core is very inexpensive, and it's allowing me to just kind of play with paints. Some days when I am just doing something for myself as an exercise to loosen up and hone my skills, I don't even like the way it turns out, and I call it just throwing paint on a canvas, and sometimes they just end up in the trash can. So here you can see I didn't use any water. I'm just coloring over different things and see what the effect will be. The blue over that black is going to give me some gray shades. I will probably introduce some white along the way, but I will continue to work through it. Just remember, when you are painting, go in different directions. You don't want everything to be the same direction. Otherwise, it looks like you're coloring versus painting. So you'll see how I hold the brush and I do go into different directions, and it gives it a little more interest in the final product. So we'll keep working on this together, and hopefully I'll have a nice outcome to share with you. Otherwise, I will just say it was a good practice session and I learned something from it. So have a great creative day. If you have any questions, just email me at joydavisartist@gmail.com. I do answer all my questions. Thanks.